We must therefore continually strengthen the training and commitment of our soldiers, which is why we started the Committee to Strengthen National Service, which I chair, and which Second Minister and Minister of State chair work groups. Our national servicemen are a critical part of our fighting force, and together with the regulars are crucial to our defense, and this is why we have to ensure that Singaporeans give full commitment to their duties during NS. I think Singaporeans should be heartened that NS continues to enjoy widespread support. Many of you would have read the independent survey conducted by Institute of Policy Studies. It was randomized, rigorous in statistical terms. We outsourced it so that it wouldn't be connected with MINDEF. They surveyed 1,200 people last July. 98% of respondents acknowledged that NS is crucial for national defense and for securing Singapore's peace and prosperity. When they presented these results to me, I tried very hard to poke holes in the methodology. I said these were selected, these were people that you knew would say that defense is important. The researcher was somewhat taken aback. He says, no, he defended it very well, and I kept probing him. And he was satisfied that his methodology was rigorous. I know of no issue in Singapore where 98% of your respondents give support. The committee also engaged nearly 40,000 people from all walks of life to draw ideas and as well as to find ways that we think we can improve. I will say that while the majority of Singaporeans support NS, many also said that the time committed to the SAF during full-time national service and in-camp training could be better utilized. I think that's fair comment. The SAF takes this criticism to heart because the comments were not asking, or those who gave feedback were not asking for lighter loads or less involvement. They, in fact, wanted NS to better strengthen our national identity, social cohesion, and instill discipline and values, I think, which many members of this House have echoed. They said that there should be less time wasted and more effective training systems. I agree that these are good outcomes, even if people are committed to national service, and that we should find ways to improve the system. Seriously look at the systems to see if we can improve in it. So I asked the SAF to take a serious view, take a serious look, and let me share with members some preliminary responses from the SAF. We need and we can improve training, but we will need to employ more professional trainers, especially for the Army. Let me explain why. The current system has second-year full-time national service, train and lead new recruits and servicemen. You would have gone through it yourself, or you had children and relatives who've gone there. In other words, your older batch, the second-year NS, train and command the first batch, the first-year NS. And I think there are merits in this. You really build commanders, you lead leadership skills, you build a sense of stakeholdership, ownership, but there are limitations. Compared to having professional trainers which will have greater impact on training outcomes, inculcating discipline, and more important, transmitting values. There's a limit to which what a 22-year-old NSF second year can transmit to a 21-year-old. Some of them do it very well, and I'm very proud of them, but we have to accept that there are limits. And in fact, using only full-time regular trainers is how the commandos train their recruits in basic training. They've always done that for years. All their trainers are professional trainers. So for the basic military training center, which I think your relatives and your children go to, only 1 in 6 trainers are professional regulars. Of all the trainers, 5 are national service full-time, 1 of them is a professional regular. So arising from the CSNS, Committee to Strengthen National Service, the SAF has decided to employ more regulars as full-time trainers, as a career path. We're studying the details about how many we need, but we could employ as many as 1,100 more regulars to fill this vital role. This will increase the proportion of professional regular trainers in the basic military training course center from 1 in 6 to 1 in 3, which is a significant improvement, which I think will strengthen the training of our NS men. Full-time Army trainers will make the training of NS men more effective and efficient, possibly even shorten training duration. Now, as quickly as I've said that, let me quickly dispel unrealistic expectations. The number of in-camp trainings that NS men have to perform will not be reduced. Let me say that again, will not be reduced. The reason is this. We reduced it from 13 in-camp trainings to 10 in-camp training cycles in 2006. And I think as many of you have pointed out, including Mr. Ong Teng Koon, that demographic challenges are there, and we need these 10 in-camp training cycles and those in the MINDEF reserves to maintain the strength in our standing force. And this will meet our defense needs even with falling birth rates until 2040. The largest impact of employing more regular trainers, I think, will be on the training of our full-time national servicemen. And I think there can be some time saving. Because in the present system, some time is required for the second-year NSF trainers to adapt themselves to the training environment in their units and training schools. So having regular trainers will smoothen this transition. But here again, let me quell unrealistic expectations. The time savings will be in a few weeks at most, if any. I'm not making any promises here, because the Army has to study many details to ensure that we can continue to generate operationally ready units. But if there are some time savings in terms of weeks, we will pass it on and we will operationalize it, but the Army is under no pressure to deliver on that score. But there is an area which we can improve in, arising from the feedback, that it is to reduce the waiting times before enlistment. Many of you know this problem because that's the reason. The reason is because Singaporeans before enlistment have different educational pathways. Some go to JC, some go to Polytechnic, some go to ITE, and they have different waiting times. Some are longer than others. I asked the SAF to respond to this feedback to develop a system where we can commit to all enlistees, except for some exceptions, that all of them can start their BMT and NS within a fixed time frame, say within 4 to 5 months. I think this is possible, but please remember that we are dealing with nearly 20,000 enlistees every year, so the logistics are very challenging. But the Army is studying this seriously and expects to complete its detailed studies on the issues raised by the CSNS in the second half of this year. The committee also noted that many Singaporeans supported the idea of more women and first-generation PRs volunteering for roles and new citizens volunteering for roles in national defense. The idea of a SAF volunteer corps for women, PRs, new citizens, I think has gained wide acceptability. Mr. Pritam Singh talked about his own session that he was involved in. And we think that this is a very good idea that we will adopt, and Second Minister Chan Chun Sing will speak more on this idea. MOS Maliki will also share ideas from the CSNS how we can enhance recognition and benefits of our NS men. Some of you here, the members here, have asked for how we are good stewards of another precious resource apart from dollars, land, and I agree with you. MINDEF is mindful to use land efficiently given competing needs. I think Dr. Lim Wee Kiat and Silver Lim asked about. And this is why MINDEF and the SAF on its own undertook studies to relocate Paya Lebar Air Base. I want to remind everybody here that this will free up 800 hectares in Paya Lebar for redevelopment, as announced by Prime Minister last year. Where we can, we also train overseas. But we do need local land for training, which we optimize. The multi-mission range complex is an example. I encourage you to visit it. We'll arrange for you to visit this. The multi-mission range complex houses 7 ranges, which can simulate day and night conditions, and it occupies a site of what used to be just one single 100-meter range. 7 ranges on one site. We've consolidated our training to 2 main training areas, the live firing areas and maneuvering areas in the west, and the offshore training area in Pulau Tekong. We've intensified the use of our camps and equipping centers to fulfill operational security and safety requirements.